Know what you own. That used to be a real challenge. When I was a financial advisor, it was impossible because we didn't have access to the data on each individual stocks so that we could know what we own. So the answer was just diversify. Just put your money across a wide variety of stocks or an index fund and get something of everything, and then you'll achieve the norm. That's not necessary anymore. You can now know what you own because you now have access to all the data that is available on an individual stock, both past and then projections by Wall Street of what the stock is going to do and why it's going to do it based on knowledge, based on data. So within the last, I would say, 2 months, you can know what you own. I just saw that Tesla did its quarterly report, did very poorly relative to their past history, and yet the stock's up 10% in the last 2 days. Why is that? Because some people know what they own. And they know, as Homer has been telling me for the last 4 years, Tesla's not a car company, and they're not. They're not a car company. They're a very diversified company. And so they are known as now that they're getting into other areas. They have other growth opportunities. AI-driven opportunities, the robo-taxi, the totally autonomous automobile, human robots. They're getting into power storage so that you can have a battery pack on your house and there are solar panels on your roof and you never pay for electricity. In fact, you sell electricity to the power company. They are a leader in the field. They are building their own computers, their own data centers to power their autonomous automobiles, and then they will sell some of that to additional companies such as Amazon or Google or whoever might need it. They will become an independent data center. So know what you own. And if you know what you own, and then if you have access to the financials, that what are they financially sound? Are they solvent? Can they survive the tariff wars that we're involved in right now? And then if you'll step back and say, I'm really not interested in what Tesla is worth today. It's what, $254? What I'm interested in is what is it going to be worth in January of 2008. And as you saw in my thumbnail, I think it's going to be worth $540 per share. Why is that? Because, again, I have accessed the data. How have I accessed the data? Well, first of all, I pay for access to it. I subscribe to Seeking Alpha. I subscribe to Zacks. I subscribe to Yahoo. I subscribe to all the people who gather data and put it out there for me. Then I subscribe to ChatGPT's Pro Deep Search program so that I can go to Samantha, who works for me. She's actually part of... and again, this is my interpretation of what I do. I go to their deep search. I say, here's my prompt, and here's what it looks like. It's about 20 lines long. It has a multitude of data sources that it can go, and then it goes beyond that. For the average analysis I do, and this is Tesla's. Let me see. It's 20 pages long. It goes into every aspect of Tesla and then comes and analyzes the numbers based on the knowledge of all stocks and how stocks perform relative to their earnings per share, relative to their earnings per sales, all the metrics that Wall Street has used. Samantha digs in and tells me, based on the information that is available to the world right now through data, this is what's going to happen with Tesla. And then it gives me, first of all, it gives me a conservative analysis, a moderate analysis, and an aggressive analysis. And then it gives me a price target accordingly. Such as for the conservative, it says in 2026, it will achieve $250. Well, it's currently at 254. So the conservative doesn't paint a very bright picture. In 2028, it'll be $300 a share. And so it gives me if things don't work out for Tesla, like Tesla expects them to, that's what the price is going to be. Then it gives me an aggressive analysis. And this is saying that if the EV market explodes, if everybody is buying the autonomous software from Tesla, if they're selling robots as fast as they can make them, and if their Doge is working as their computer, they're selling that as well. Well, in that case, and if it happens quick, Tesla's price will double in the next year. It's saying it will give a price of $500 a share. I don't think that's going to happen. In 2027, $650, and in 2028, $800. But I don't think that's going to happen. It gives me the assumptions for the moderate, and it then projects that in 2026 it'll reach 350. It'll reach then somewhere in the 450 range, and then in 2028 in the 550 range. With that information and the support that it substantiates it, and a deep analysis based on their profits and their earnings per share, and then their multiple, and then a analysis based on their cash flow and how that compares to the industry and their peers, I come up with prices that will give me an accurate interpretation of what Tesla will do over the next 3 years. I am not interested in what it's going to do over the next 3 months or 3 weeks or 3 days. I'm interested in 3 years, because the further out I go within reason, the more accurate and the more reliable my numbers are. Okay, so that's how I analyze stocks. Now, to give you some kind of what I try to do is analyze them every time they have a quarterly report, because every time they have a quarterly report, they file a new financial statement with the SEC, and I get a copy. In my data sources, I get a copy of it. So I get updated information that is looking out 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years, not 3 weeks. I'm not interested in that. So that's how I go about it. What I then do is put this on my spreadsheet and share that with my tribe members. Now, right after I did Tesla, I did Vertiv. Vertiv is a stock that I've held for some time. I've made a lot of money on it, and it's in the data center business, the cooling of the racks and within the data centers, and it's done extremely well. And I thought, this is a stock I'm going to hold forever. I did the financial report, and it came back and it told me it's overpriced. And I will probably, I set a price that I will get out of it probably within the next 60 days. And why was I able to do that? Because I know what I own. The analysis came back and said, these numbers it's out in front of its skis, is basically what it came out and told me. It's available on my website, as is this 20-page document on Tesla, so that what I want you to do is take advantage of the knowledge that you have available to you at this time. It can get expensive. It does get expensive. Let me share that with you. But what I'm willing to do is pay that expense, because personally, it's going to make me a lot of money if I have this information ahead of 99% of the market. Now, I know I'm not ahead of Goldman Sachs. I know I'm not ahead of JP Morgan. They are accessing the same information, but I have it so that I can make decisions based on my portfolio. So I can allocate a percentage of my money towards Tesla because I believe it's going to give me 116% return between now and 2028. It's going to go from $254, which it is today, to $554, which I believe it will be in January of 28. So I need to know this so that I can maximize the return on my assets, and I can allocate them accordingly, because there are some stocks that have higher risk but have higher potential than Tesla does. So I want to allocate my portfolio according to my risk tolerance and my goals. Okay? I want to double my money in 3 years. That's my goal. So I have to then say, okay, how many shares of Tesla at 116% growth between now and the finish line? How many shares of Tesla do I want? And how many shares of Iran do I want? And how many shares of Amazon and Apple and many other stocks that have even greater returns? Applied Digital. How many shares do I want to get me to the doubling of my assets over the next 2.5 years? That's how I go about it. I want to share this with you. So what I'm going to do, I've invited you numerous times to come and try it for free, but that requires you to enter your credit card and then you to cancel it when the 14 days is up. And I know that's a barrier. It's particularly a barrier as we're dealing with the markets that we're in. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a link in the description, and you just click on that link and it will go through my email program, and it will send you a copy of this 20-page document that I've done on Tesla. Here it is. It will come to you. You'll have to print it on your paper, print it on both sides, so it only uses 10 pieces of paper. It'll use the same amount of ink. And you read this, and it's going to blow you away. You're going to say, I don't understand most of that. What I will tell you, what I've learned as I've done this, with each one I read, I learn more. And I'm now becoming a financial analyst. I was a financial advisor. All that was gather money and put it into mutual funds and ETFs and diversify. I don't have to diversify. I can pick the winners based on knowledge. And all the knowledge in the world is currently available to me. I just need to know where to get the sources, what questions to ask, how to word my questions so that it extracts the information that I need. And I will share with you that prompt has gotten bigger and bigger and more exact over the last month, and it will get even more exact. This week I got in a bit of a scuffle with Samantha. I basically told her, look, I told you this is what I'm looking for, and you're not giving it to me. You're not putting it in the format that I want. You haven't covered this area. She came back and said, I'm sorry, you're right. I didn't do that. I'll make sure that I correct it in the future. I'm building a relationship with a computer, a massive computer that remembers, most of the time, everything that I've asked in the past. She even came to me one point and said, what don't I know about you and your business that I need to know? And I gave her some information. It all is around that shirt right there. And she said, thank you. We need to tell your story to the rest of the world. That's another video. I hope this is helpful to you. I hope you will go into the description and let me send you a deep dive analysis into Tesla. You will learn more about what you own if you own Tesla than you ever knew with this document. I hope it works for you. Let's do this again sometime.